to be live.
What's up, you beautiful bastards? It is 10:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That means only one thing: that Jukebox Trivia is live. We are doing the fourth dance-off ever as Caleb Coho almost loses himself. We have an exciting debate once again. This almost actually didn't happen, but we had somebody come in late to save the day. We have Malcolm Lay taking on Brian Fernandez, who is currently AFK, but he will be joining us momentarily. But before we get to our competitors, I want to talk to our judges today. Both dance-off competitors, one a successful result, one a not-so-successful result. I'll go to the successful one first. The person who always wants to put a rainy cloud over my day, the Red Sox lover himself, Cody Newberry. Cody, how you feeling about these competitors?
Sorry, gotta go, gotta take a piss. No, you can call the Red Sox all you want, but we have the best record in baseball, and we just cinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs, so that's exciting. This should be an interesting match. As whatever the title I am in late night, debating is my thing, and I enjoy it very much. And I have seen Malcolm start and see where he's come in his debating in just the short weeks. So I'm really excited to see if he has uses what he learned and what he's gained over that time to beat Brian. But Brian's a fierce competitor, so it should be an interesting debate.
All right. And our other judge today, he was unsuccessful in the very first dance-off way back many seasons ago. He is the king or the kid, depending on who you ask. Caleb Coho. Caleb, how are we doing?
Don't speak that kid name around here, Brooklyn. You know better. No. Okay. One thing. That was an unfair loss. I should have won because I gave the better answer. But anyway, I'm excited because I love the speed round debates. I think I will win that eventually, maybe, but we'll see. I love competing. I love judging them, and I've seen Malcolm compete in them, and he has gotten better and better and better, and it's very interesting to see. And Brian just competed in Nerdgasm and successfully took home the victory. So his debating skills are nothing to sneeze at. So I'm interested to see how this one goes.
All right. Well, let's get into the minds of our competitors first. He has the better record in Jukebox Trivia with a record of 1-1. Brian Fernandez. Brian, how do you feel about entering the realm of dance-off, and how do you feel going up against Malcolm?
Malcolm is a really good competitor, and I really want to thank you, Brooklyn, for letting me step in here. I know that there was a complication with another competitor that he wasn't able to make it, so just by seeing that post that you put out there, and I was like, hey, let me step in, get put in music debates as part of my record there. I love music. I love music a lot. I'm studying music business right now in college, so which is an extra plus there. So, music is pretty much my life. I'm really looking forward to this match in general. Like I said, Malcolm is a really good competitor when it comes to like the trivia and whatnot, but when it comes to debates, he has a lot of hits and misses, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does tonight.
All right. Well, best of luck to you, Brian, and once again, thanks for coming in on semi-short notice. And your opponent today, fellow Take 3 member, Cody mentioned he has had a lot of practice on the live show, and you can find him Sundays on Rankum, where often friendships are contested. Malcolm Goldie Lay. Malcolm, how you doing, buddy? And how do you feel going into this dance-off against Brian?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm determined to win. Brian's awoken the dragon in me with one of the questions, so I'm ready to destroy and ready to argue my bum off.
Alrighty. Well, best of luck to you guys. And for the cool kids watching at home, it's going to work like this. There have been 4 questions that were predetermined. They're given to our competitors Sunday night from Malcolm, but Brian stepped in once again this afternoon, so they were given a little bit of time to prepare for each other's debates. Each question will begin with a 45-second opening for both competitors. That'll be followed by a 5-minute free form while they were counter-track each other. And there will be a 30-second closing by both competitors. And the judges, myself, Caleb, and Cody, will give points based on the arguments provided. The first to 3 points will get the W. We do have a speed round question in the event of a 2-2 tie after 4 questions. But before I get to anything, I'm going to go to Brian first. Brian, since you have the better record in Jukebox Trivia, what 2 questions would you like to go first on?
I would like to go first on TV themes and best group with the number in the title.
All right, sounds good. And Malcolm, which question would you like to begin with?
Let's get it out the way. Song of the year.
All right, so the worst song of the year. So how we'll do it is we'll go with worst song of the year, and then we will go with the best name or the best artist and group with the number in their name. That'll be second, and then third will be the third will be the best album from 1999, and then the last question will be the best TV theme.
Ooh, okay.
So this one I was kind of thinking of like an interesting question where you have to kind of pick apart a critically acclaimed song. So the question to begin this dance off is as follows: what is the worst song to win a Grammy for Song of the Year? Malcolm, you are going to go first in this debate. You will have 45 seconds. Time begins whenever you start yapping.
Well, the worst song of the year is Rehab by Amy Winehouse. I do like this song, but if you look at what the song was up against, it was up against Before He Cheats, Umbrella, Hey Leela Delilah, and Like a Star. 3 of those songs are way better than Rehab. It's not a good song for role model as well, because it's about refusing to get sober, and the Grammy voters looked at the song and said, no, no, no to it.
All right, Pat did Chris Clark, ending a few seconds early. We are now going to Brian for his opening debate. 45 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
When you look at a song, you think about how the creativeness is behind it. Rehab, the creative process was there for Amy Winehouse because she wanted to make a song that pretty much expressed what she was going through. Lord, with this song Royals, the reason why it's the worst song is because it just pretty much rags on what the music industry is about. And if you look in that context, it's a genius idea, but still the execution of it was just really bad. So my pick is Royals by Lord.
All right. Sounds good, guys. We have 5 minutes of free-form debate. The floor is yours.
Are you kidding me? Royals is one of the greatest New Zealand songs of all time, just under Don't Dream It's Over. It is a lot better than the other songs it was nominated up against. At the peak of its popularity, it was #1 songs in just about every country. Rehab, at its peak, it peaked at #7 in the UK and #9 in USA. It never really got to #1 at all. And with Royals, there's so many different reasonings for the interpretation of the song, because there's growing up with New Zealand lifestyles in America and seeing how different the lifestyles are. There's so many different interpretations of the song.
I mean, but then when you do talk about like the songs that it went up against, yeah, but I'm not gonna gonna disagree with you there. You know, just give me a reason was a fantastic song that could have won. Locked Out of Heaven is an overplayed and overrated song, you know. But when you look at the songs that Rehab was going up against, you can think to yourself, it was going up against, you know, it's going up against similar ways there, but overall, I mean, if you really look at like the meaning behind it, yeah, it does rag on what the music industry is right now. You know how a lot of rappers are using gold teeth. You know, have gold teeth, and they're pretty much focused, you know, on money and fame and all this stuff. When you look at that song in itself, I despise that song so much. It is the worst song to even think about. Because why do you want to pick a song that's going to rag on the music industry? Pick a song that's going to win, like Locked Out of Heaven, or just give me a reason. Which Just Give Me a Reason is a much better song to do, because it's focusing on two lovers trying to find love again, and they're trying to like fight about what has been going on with their relationship. That's a better choice of a song. This one was not a good choice whatsoever.
Yeah, but I mean, just about every other song out there is about relationships and stuff. I mean, Royals is a unique song, and it's one of those ones like, once again, there's so many different interpretations with music. Everyone gets something different out of them. Like, you may have seen it's ragging on the music industry, and specifically this one, like a lot of comments I've seen, is more at the hip hop side of things, which and you look at the song and that it's actually a very true in regards to hip hop. But yeah, I mean, there's so many relationship songs out there that before this one stood out of it as something different in that year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the reason. I mean, this is going to be the main reason why I would rather pick Rehab to win Song of the Year over Royals, is because, you know, I'm not afraid to admit this out loud right now, as someone who you know, who has struggled with alcohol and with drugs before. I actually can relate to that, you know, to that song. A lot of people can relate to that song there, because it's a song that everybody goes to if, you know, to find, you know, to seek some kind of like help. And they think of Amy Winehouse right then and there as someone who they can look up to, because she went through the same kind of problems as we did. So that's the reason why a lot of people would pick that song. Now, would you really want to pick a song that's that's pretty much talking about everything that's going on with the music? No, you wouldn't want to talk. You don't want to do that. You want to pick a song that has creativity to it. You have to pick a song that relates to people. Rehab relates to a lot of people, man. The Royals does not relate to anything, and that's the big problem right there.
All right. Good debates there by both competitors. Great points brought up. Malcolm, since you went first on this one, you are going to begin the closing arguments. Time begins whenever you're talking. 30 seconds, and just try to wrap up all your thoughts.
Rehab is not a good song as a role model to wanting to get sober, because it is all about refusing to go to rehab. It's not about going to rehab. It's not about sort of going to it. And Royals, it's one of those ones that yes, it rags on the music industry, but it's still a good song. It's got great lyrics. It's really catchy, and it's one of the iconic New Zealand songs. And it's really good to see a song from a country other than America win Song of the Year.
All right. Okay, we now go to Brian. 30 seconds. Once again, just kind of wrap up your thoughts and keep it concise.
If you really want to talk about iconic songs, Rehab is a lot more iconic than Royals. if you look at statistics and whatnot, Royals has a lot, was sold a lot less than Rehab did, and Amy Winehouse is a lot more popular artist than Lord. So when you think about that, it's very genius with its writing. It's very genius when it comes to its execution. It's just a perfect song.
All right. Good closing arguments there by both competitors. I am going to begin first. For me, the thing that kind of stood out, Malcolm, I think you raised your New Zealand flag proudly, but I think that just factored in a little bit too much. I didn't hear enough about why Royals was this great song, and I didn't hear a lot of delving into it. Lyrically. There was a lot more defense that I got. Whereas with Brian, I heard more from the nominees, what is going up against, where it ranked, and the importance that it has, not only musically but lyrically, to a wider demographic. So I'm going to give my point to Brian, but this is why I have 3 judges, because I know Cody's giving me a weird ass look. Cody, based on the arguments provided, who gave the better arguments?
Reason why you didn't win sandwiches, and the reason you won't win here tonight. I'm sorry, I have to 100% disagree. I think you can't factor out passion when you do these. I think that actually raised a good point on going forward. I also like that Malcolm brought up the Billboard charts and what it was going up against and the songs that it was get. Brian kind of went on a little bit of a rant about gold teeth at one point. And he also brought in the popularity of the artist, which means nothing in this argument at all to me. Because it's basically the song of the year, so they stand on themselves. I also love Malcolm's counterpoint, because Brian kind of hit it to the more personal note with struggling and going through that problem, but then Malcolm countered it really hard with saying it literally fights against all that and says that you don't want to go to rehab. There's not a point to it, and it does not send the greatest message. I did like Brian's view on the music industry, but on this point, I have to give it to Malcolm because I think he hit harder. And by the way, the correct choice would be The Wind Beneath My Wings. Would have been the right choice to pick.
The actual correct answer is My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion.
You're crazy. You're crazy, Brooklyn. You are crazy.
I will gladly shit on that song every day of the week.
In March, we're listening to it nonstop.
Okay, Caleb.
All right, cool. Caleb, it comes down to you. Based on the arguments provided, who gets the point?
Down to Cody's updated correct answer pick. I agree with him all the way through. And even with your choice there at the end, I completely agree. But I have to give my point to Malcolm, because Malcolm laid a haymaker on Brian when Brian brought up the personal side of things. I thought Brian was about to just knock out Malcolm, but then Malcolm just came back with that. But it fights entirely against what you're going for. Malcolm also brought up the songwriting, like on a lyrical standpoint, and he also brought up how it's catchy. And I think basing it in the what else came out that year, what makes it more to pick. I think Malcolm nailed that a little bit harder than Brian did in terms of why his should have won out of the other nominees. So I got to give my point to Malcolm.
All right, so agreed. Malcolm gets the point. September 24th, 2018 at 11:55 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Cody Newberry and Caleb Goho agree on something. This is mind-blowing. History books have never changed. That scares me more than it does enjoy me. We now move on to question number 2. Brian is going to be leading this one off, and the question is, what is the best artist or group with a name? With a number in the title. Brian, you're going to go first. You got 45 seconds. No, we'll do their opening. Brian, 45 seconds. Time begins, and then we start talking.
I had to think of a lot of them that I listened to. but the one that I always listen to and has a lot more iconic songs to it in its name, it is U2, baby. U2. Their songs are very, very catchy. The bandmates in itself are exceptionally. They are perfection. So my pick is U2.
All right, Pat Nick, Chris Clark, ending a few seconds early. We got to go to the Malcolm's. Malcolm's opening. 45 seconds. Time begins. Never start yapping.
Well, for this one, I picked Maroon 5. They may be a younger band, but in that short time, they've had quite a lot of iconic songs. They've definitely had a lot of successful songs as well. Well, U2 has just simply started sliding down. I mean, they do force now onto people just to stay relevant.
You got 20 more seconds if you want to keep going.
Holy shit!
I will save that for the main arguments. I've really got nothing else.
All right, interesting. Cody, really? Cody, why? Why are you doing this now? We're in the middle of a debate, and you are changing the question. Why are you doing this?
What? Wait. Thought Brooklyn, I thought that was you.
What do you mean?
You're the only one that can edit.
No. The question in my video, the question is supposed to be, what is the best artist or group with a number in the title? But some doofus, some hacker changed it.
That's not what I have anymore.
What do you like? Does it say the same thing on your guys' screen?
Yeah,
I think so. I didn't change it. I can't edit it. I've been making videos all day. What are you talking about?
Can one of you guys just read it just so that we can confer that we have the same thing?
God. Yeah, I mean, I can. It's what band most improves with Miley Cyrus as their front woman?
Once again, guys, I'm really sorry. This is 2 dance-offs in a row now. Some douchebag hacker, his hipster hat. Oh my god, I'm gonna make Miley Cyrus the answer. So yeah, once again, guys, I do apologize, but we do have to carry on. We got 5 minutes. Time begins. Free flow. The question is now: Miley Cyrus is the better improves what front? What the most? Have fun.
Well, I mean, 5 could do with a really strong female singer. Like, imagine all the different songs you could get. You could get like a song with a medley of Sugar and Wrecking Ball. I mean, you could get various combinations of songs. I mean, there's no way U2 can be improved on by adding Miley Cyrus. They've already got a lot of good iconic songs. Maroon 5 need a really good singer to boost them up.
Can we mute the sounds that are coming through the mic?
Brian, are you alright?
I think he's just upset because this is the second time in a debate in a row now that he's had a trick question.
No, but this is probably the worst trick question that I've ever gotten ever.
Time still starts. You want to win this round.
You still have 4 minutes.
Okay. So, God damn it! I hate you. Okay. Just give the point to Malcolm. I can't argue this. I can't.
Are you 1,000% sure? You have 3 more minutes to.
Okay. All right. I'll attempt something. I'll attempt this. So if you look at YouTube's, if you look at the classic version of YouTube when they had their music, yes, they will not be touched whatsoever. But then when you look at albums that they could have made, an updated member to the band like Miley Cyrus could probably bring out the more rockness to them, and it could bring out a little bit more of like an exciting factor. by the point when you bring in the original stuff in, yeah, it's really fun to listen to. But with just the female presence there of Miley Cyrus, she could bring that certain kind of gravitas to it and just bring out this different side of U2 that could probably be a lot bigger, and a lot more known than Maroon 5. I think she would just kill the vibe with Maroon 5, and she'll just bring down that popularity factor that Maroon 5 already had. It'll just go down a little bit.
Yeah, but the same can be said if Miley Cyrus and U2 ever teamed up. Like, that could drag their popularity down way further than what songs about innocence did for them, because they literally forced that album onto people, and Miley Cyrus could drag them down further than that. I mean, you can't improve greatness. Maroon 5 is still up and coming. They can get better if you add Miley. Like, there's so many different songs that they could be opened up to that they might not have been able to do if they continue to have males. Adam Levine sing everything. Like,
I'll tell you this: if U2 would have brought in Miley Cyrus for the two albums that they had just recently, Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience, then you would have. I'm sorry.
No. What? It's just I always do a 1 minute warning. So.
Oh, okay. No, yeah. If you would have brought in Miley Cyrus for Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience, then it would have changed the sound of U2 just a tad bit. But if you want to talk about like quality wise, it'll actually bring the quality wise of them together just a lot more higher than the Maroon 5. I think just that presence there of what Maroon 5 already has is already good enough. They don't need somebody extra in their group. I think just the kind of vocal range that Miley Cyrus has, where if you put her on either a piano or on keyboard with her singing, and with the voice of Bono, would just be incredibly awesome to listen to.
All right, a bit of a slow start, but we did get some points right up there by both competitors. Brian, I'm sorry. Once again, I do apologize. Our cybersecurity team has been working around the clock. We are trying to find this hacker, and when this hacker is discovered, I am taking them on myself. So rest assured, justice will be served. Brian, you have 30 seconds to wrap up your arguments. Once again, just kind of keep them concise and wrap everything up. Time begins today. We start talking.
I had mentioned before Miley Cyrus's vocal range, and she does have a great vocal range. She has done few performances where she's sung with a piano and just her by herself singing, and she has an incredible vocal range. She has an incredible voice that'll add in to U2's already sound there. And not only that, just the guitar sounds could also be livelier instead of just being like that same like.
All right, good closing. Malcolm, you have 30 seconds. Time begins whenever you're talking.
Miley Cyrus will be lost in U2. Her sound does not suit being with U2. She is more on the pop side of things, and she's more suited to being in Maroon 5 because their songs suit her style of voice. And I mean, she is a really good singer, and I think she can complement U2 she can complement Maroon 5 so well, and can make them better and definitely bring out a lot more in Maroon 5.
Time. All right. I'm once again, this hacker is just being a bit of a troll. But based on the arguments provided, I'll start with Caleb first, since you were the decision maker last time. Caleb, based on the arguments provided, who gets your point?
Okay, so I'm going based on a couple of the things said. Malcolm landed a lot of heavy hits. A lot of heavy hits, in my opinion. The U2 forcing an album down on people to stay relevant was a big hit. And then even attacking, saying that Miley wouldn't have helped that out. Also, his argument about Miley not fitting in U2 and being more suited to do this type of pop that Maroon 5 does really hit for me. I did like Brian's point about an updated member could bring out, an exciting factor, but I do think Malcolm attacked Miley being the choice really well, so I got to give my point to Malcolm.
Okay. Cody, based on the arguments provided, who gets your point?
Okay, so as somebody that had to deal with a hacker in the past and deal with Miley Cyrus, I know your guys' pain, so I apologize, even though I don't think Brooklyn's the correct choice to take him on, but whatever, because he can't win. But it's not a big deal. So here's the thing. And this basically comes down to this. The kind of caving in the middle round hurt Brian just a tad because I don't think he was able to much out because instead of Malcolm caving, Malcolm took it head on. So the few ones that I liked, Forced album, again, I can't take that away. That's a fantastic pull. Too many iconic songs for Miley to take over in U2. Maroon 5 could be actually kind of improved if they had a female touch. That would be interesting. Doesn't fit, but fits Maroon 5 style. Brian did have some good points. Killed the vibe of what Maroon 5 has going because they are kind of current. Because Maroon 5 is good. I want to eliminate the word gravitas from everybody's vocabulary ever because that word pisses me off. But I really think Brian missed a key point on this. Malcolm literally said that they're on the decline in the opening, and if he would have just targeted it and went straight for it and said, "You said they're on the decline. Miley's the one thing that could bring them back on the rise, and Maroon 5's already there, so they don't need that." I think it could have swayed, but I have to also give the point to Malcolm.
Yeah. I'm also going to agree. I'm going to give the point to Malcolm. I mean, the Forced album thing was a slam dunk. I do disagree, though. I do disagree with this point of this the Maroon 5 being on the rise. They've been popular for the last 5 or 6 years. Brian did have some good points though, where they don't really fit in well. But for Malcolm's, for me, what could have made it an absolute slam dunk for Malcolm is if he brought up Bono and how much of a presence he has, whereas Miley Cyrus can't even take that presence away from Bono. So, but Malcolm does get the point, so he is up 2-0. So Brian does have some ground to cover, but we do go into the next question. This is a fan favorite of mine because there was a lot of different choices that you could go with. I was 6 at the time. I think Caleb might have been a couple weeks old during this year, and Cody being the ripe old age of 35. The question is, what is the best album from the year 1999?
I was 8.
Oh. Well, you're still an old man. You could almost vote. So. Malcolm, you are going first in this one. You got 45 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Well, in 1999, I was 14, and the first album I ever bought with my own money was "The Ego Has Landed" by Robbie Williams. This album is so great. I was tossing up between 3, and I just thought, well, this is the best out of those 3 that I was considering. It's got so many great songs on it. You've got No Regrets, you've got Millennium, you've got Strong, Angels, Win Some, Lose Some, Let Me Entertain You, She's the One. I mean, and just those songs all together are iconic, and he's still played today, and he still does a lot of them in his concerts now.
Can I get the album one more time? What is it?
The Ego Has Landed by Robbie Williams.
The Ego Has Landed. Okay.
Okay. All right. We now go to Brian Fernandez. 45 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
If you want to talk about iconic songs from an album, Adam's song, All the Small Things, Party Song, Mutt, What's My Age Again, What's My Age Again, Enema of the State by Blink-182. They were the rising band to come from the 90s, and just where they are right now, they are still freaking kicking it with every single song that they put out and every single album. This band was the first band that I got into back in 1999. Okay, I was 7 years old when I first picked up this album, and I freaking love this album, Enema of the State, Blink-182. And I got one question for you. What's my age again? What's my age again?
All right. That is a great opening. You got 5 minutes, guys. Free-form debate. Let's get it on.
Okay. First of all, you're fucking old for getting it at 14 years old. Really. Okay. So if you want to talk about iconic, something that's iconic, this one in itself is an iconic album. This one is the one album that stuck out for Blink-182 and brought them to popularity. Now, when it comes to Robbie Williams, nobody knows who Robbie Williams is unless you're a fan of them, or in this case, he's probably has like a cult following. Blink-182 has a fan base that's so strong that everybody knew this album as their first album that they picked up. Robbie Williams' Ego Has Landed. I mean, everybody who bought this album was thinking to themselves, what is this album? What kind of sound do they have? Blink-182 stuck with punk rock throughout the years after their next few albums, and this is where they definitely found their sound, and this is where they knew, this is what sound we're going to be doing for the rest of our life, and this punk rock sound that they have is just genius.
Robbie Williams is well known. I mean, everyone knows who he is. Blink-182 is so overrated, and I've not heard anything. I've not heard anything from them since their album. Like, they could have just disappeared off the face of the earth, and no one would care. Pop punk is the worst genre of music. Robbie Williams has stayed consistent in his songs that he's just continued doing.
Okay, you really want to say that they haven't put out anything. Okay, how about California back in 2016? How about freaking Blink-182, their solo out, their the same album under the same name, Blink-182. How about freaking Neighborhood? How about Dude Ranch? Take Off Your Pants and Jazz. Really, you don't think those albums are not good to listen to? What albums has Robbie Williams put out in the last?
All right, pause. I'm hearing a lot about the artists and how relevant they are today. The question is, guys, what is the best album from 1999?
Okay.
Not who is the better artist. And Malcolm, how dare you say pop punk is the worst genre? You almost woke Sue up and raised her wrath. You got 2.5 minutes. Let's go.
All right. Okay, Malcolm.
Well,
Ozzy, oi.
Well, on the Ego Has Landed, like, you've got a lot of songs that are well known. You've got Strong, Let Me Entertain You, Win Some, Lose Some, Angels. All songs that I mentioned, like, there's pretty much double the well-known songs on Ego Has Landed than Enema of the State. Like, all the small things, overrated. What My Age Again, overrated. So, those are just terrible songs, and Ego Has Landed has had more of a following than ever.
Ego Has Landed has more followings. No, it is not. No, it is not. Look at how that fan base is. That like I said before, it's a cult following. The only reason why you would listen to Robbie Williams is because it's a cult following. Dumpweed, Don't Leave Me, Aliens Exist, Going Away to College. Those are underrated songs from that album. Once My Age Again is an iconic song from that album. It is the song that Blink-182 is very well known for. They are also known for All the Small Things, which that's how you know they really sound pop punk, and that's where you know that's the sound that they wanted to go from forever. Then you go to Anthem, the party song. Those are another songs that are very underrated. Robbie Williams' Ego Has Landed. None of the songs there matter. Nobody cares about that album because nobody wants to go back and listen to that album. That album does not have re-listenable. It's not re-listenable. But Enema of the State is very re-listenable. Okay, everybody wants to re-listen to that album again. Nobody wants to listen to Ego Has Landed.
I go to karaoke all the time, and some of the main songs I hear is all from Ego Has Landed. I do not hear any of the songs from Blink-182's Enema of the State at all.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
All right. I almost stopped the broadcast there. That would have been
Sorry, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Technical difficulties.
I almost stopped the stream. All right, let's get into some closing arguments. Malcolm, you were first in this round, so you're gonna you were gonna close out first. You have 30 seconds. Once again, just kind of keep it concise and wrap up your thoughts.
Look, the Ego Has Landed has had a lot of great songs off it. At karaoke, I hear Strong, Angels, Win Some, Lose Some, Let Me Entertain You all the time. I don't hear, and I hear those songs every week I go to karaoke. I do not hear any of the songs from Enema of the State. I do not hear anyone singing them. A lot of those songs don't get played a lot on the radio. I hear more of the Robbie Williams Ego Has Landed songs. All
right. Time's up. Brian, you have 30 seconds. Once again, just kind of keep your thoughts concise and wrap everything up. Time begins at every time.
You want to talk about karaoke? Once you sing the song "What's My Age Again," once you sing the song "All the Small Things," everybody in that bar, in that restaurant, and wherever you go to is gonna explode because that's a blast from the past. If you listen. That's how everybody recognizes it. They recognize it as a blast from the past, and nobody is going to recognize nobody's going to recognize Angels, Win, Lose Some, Let Me Entertain You, Old Before I Die. Nobody's going to re-listen to that. Everybody's going to re-listen to Blink-182, Enema of the State, because that's the album that they got into, their first punk rock album that they got into.
All right. Interesting debates by both competitors. I'm going to go to Cody first, based on the arguments provided. Who gets your points?
Okay, I'm going to give a little breakdown for this. Brian, I think you did a great job in this round. Not noticeable. You had great battle backs to pretty much everything Malcolm said. Malcolm used the one thing in debate I absolutely hate the most, and it's overrated because I'm sorry, that's hard to determine, and that's just an opinion. And just saying, so the few things I had written here was who the fuck is Robbie Williams? I had to look him up. I listened to some of them while you were debating and paying attention. Still don't know him. And the correct choices: Californication, Fan Mail by TLC, Astro Lounge by Smash Mouth, and Little Bit of Mambo by Lou Bega. don't forget that classic was released that year. But yeah, I have to give it hands down to Brian. I think Brian battled from start to finish, and Malcolm kind of just went on fan of it instead of logic. So that's my view.
I am going to agree. I'll go next, and Brian gets the point for me. Malcolm, you got really stuck in your closing about your karaoke scene in New Zealand and how Robbie Williams is played. Although my favorite song from both albums is "Angels" by Robbie Williams. I think it is a great ballad. But I heard more from Brian's. I heard more from Brian's album itself and how these are genre staples, whereas Malcolm, you got stuck on like nobody plays these at karaoke. How dare you say that they're overrated? Well, I do hold that opinion down. Brian did have the better arguments there. Caleb, your vote did not count, but how would you have swayed?
100% agree with Cody again. I think I would have gone with Brian too. When Malcolm was saying his album is iconic and Robbie Williams, at the end of the final arguments, I wrote down everything he said and then wrote, "Who's Robbie Williams?" Because I have never heard of the artist or the album, and Brian capitalized that a ton. I definitely heard of Enema in the State. Malcolm saying punk rock sucks hurt his argument in my head. Just kidding. But the right album to pick is the Slim Shady LP by Eminem.
I will go to some other popular choices here in the chat. Jonathan Peck says "The Writings on the Wall" by Destiny's Child. We see
that's a good one.
"Play" by Moby. "Battle of Los Angeles" by Rage Against the Machine from Cameron Holzman. Cameron also says, "Malcolm, if you didn't have a Baby Driver poster on your wall, I would be cussing you out right now." For me, I'm kind of surprised nobody else heard about Robbie Williams. He has a lot of good songs. "Rock DJ" is another great one.
Yeah.
I was actually terrified of that music video growing up, and then I rewatched it 5 years ago, and I was like, "Oh, CGI was really good in 2000."
Did you see the extended version or the normal version?
I saw the one where he rips his skin off and his muscles.
That's the extended version.
And then I saw the behind the scenes of it as like an 8-year-old, and it scared the fuck out of me. So Brian does get a point, which means we move into our final regular question. Malcolm, if you get this, you win. But Brian, if you get this, we move into a speed round question. Brian, you're going to go to the first in this one. If you watched on Rankum last week, 2 weeks ago, myself, Cody, Malcolm, Chris, and Sandy got into a pretty heated debate as to what the greatest theme songs of all time were. But in this question here, I want to focus on the musicality of each theme, and the question is as follows: what is the greatest TV theme song of all time? And we are focusing on non-lyrical, so this is entirely instrumental. Brian, you are going to be going first. 45 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
As much as I love watching TV, there's one theme that always sticks out to me as a theme that from the first season to where it's at right now in its eighth season on FX. It has a very good following to it, and its theme in itself and how it relates to every single season is also very very interesting in itself, because the theme that I picked is American Horror Story. And you'll know a lot more why I picked American Horror Story when we get into the arguments.
All right. Good opening there by Brian. Malcolm, you have 45 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Well, the theme I picked is the Simpsons theme song. This is an iconic theme, like it's very recognizable. The problem with American Horror Story is there's 8 different themes, so there's different themes each season, so it really is a lot different each season. But The Simpsons is one that is consistent. It definitely is still recognized, and it appears on a lot of great TV theme lists.
All right, you got 10 more seconds if you want to add anything at all. Or...
I'm good.
Alrighty, really sticking to that Chris Clark method. You guys got 5 minutes to ramble on. Let's get it on.
Okay, so you mentioned that American Horror Story's theme changes every single season. It does not. It does not change throughout every single season. If you look at its opening themes in itself, like the videography that goes with the themes for every single season, the videos change with it, and just the song that goes within every single season is just it gives you goosebumps every single time you listen to it. Yes, The Simpsons is iconic, but at the same time, it gets a little bit repetitive, and you get a little bit tired of wanting to listen to that theme song over and over and over again. When it comes to American Horror Story, once you see the opening like title card for the show, and with the song that goes into it, you just get entranced by how creepy the song is. And that also explains, and just within the song in itself, it just gives you an indication of how the rest of the season is going to go into, and it also explores what like the theming behind it is. And just with everything combined together, and just how everything is about it, just makes it so iconic in itself. The Simpsons, on the other hand, just how it's being played, you get, like I said, you get tired of it, and you just don't, and you just lose the sense of wonder and imagination that it'll bring to you. American Horror Story brings that wonder of what is like the season going to be about for the show. What is it how is it going to tie into what the season is going to be? Just the one song playing in the intro, and just how and nothing else relates to, and it doesn't relate to anything. So it always leaves me confused of why it is the best TV theme song of all time.
The musicality of the Simpsons theme is beautiful. I mean, American Horror Story is not memorable. I mean, you could go up to a random person on the street and play that theme song and ask, what TV show is this? A lot of 90% of the time, they're probably going to say that they don't recognize it. You play them Simpsons theme, it is instantly recognizable. And I could listen to it on repeat and not get sick of the Simpsons theme. I could get sick of the American Horror Story theme if I listened to that on repeat. It can be so forgettable, and I mean, when it comes to musicality, I think the Simpsons theme has the better thing. It's short and simple. The Horror Story theme tends to repeat the same notes a lot of the time, and can get boring to listen to.
I mean, you think about repetitiveness. I mean, the Simpsons song in itself is very repetitive. I mean, the theming in itself, musicality is very complex. It's the complexity in itself brings out the curiosity of what the theming of what the show is about, and every theme for every single season, just including the song, you get, like I said, you get entranced by it. You don't get entranced by just by hearing da 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 da. I mean, it is fun to listen to, but at the same time, I would rather enjoy, listen to a song and enjoy the creativeness behind it, than listen to a song. Bless you.
1 minute remaining.
And I would rather listen to a song and wonder how it was made, other than trying to find out how a song was just gonna be overplayed very, very soon. So
every time I listen to the Simpsons theme, I always wonder how it's made. I do not wonder that at all for the American Horror Story theme. The American Horror Story is better than the theme. The theme can just come and go for me. The Simpsons theme stays on my head all the time, and
Does it
and
really?
it's just like this first theme, and it's just so sticks in your head.
I mean, just to bring the point back around, just for like a homeless person, you ask them that question, they'll
Time.
Damn it.
Right.
Okay.
All right, interesting points brought in by both competitors. We're getting to closing arguments. The one thing that I do want to hear from both competitors, you mentioned the complexity of both of your themes. I want to hear the closing arguments. What instruments in your theme give it that uniqueness? What gives it that standout potential. So Brian, you went first in this argument, and you were going to close. So 30 seconds, and just kind of hit on those points that I mentioned.
I mean, you're gonna have to give me a second to find out the instrumentation for it, because that's an interesting question.
He does this from time to time.
I mean,
let's ask what
doesn't
key.
Pose the question, but to pull out the stuff.
While you're at it, Brian, can you look up what key your theme is in? Because I'm sure Prickle would love to know for trivia purposes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, ha! Aren't we all funny characters here?
I'm just saying, from a person that has battled, it's hard when you come in and prep around, and then you say, "Hey, throw something that's not in your question into the question." And you're like, "What?"
I mean, if you're gonna argue,
I understand it's music, and I get that, but it's not. That's not what the question reads. Like, what instrument makes your theme the best?
No, but that's not what I'm. But like, I think a good point in your argument to bring into this sort of question is what are the different instruments that make it complex and make it stand out. I could name a bunch of them from the Simpsons.
But my question is, if somebody came in and used that as their points, then that's a stronger point for them. But when you make them look at, take time to look it up, it's always like now you're feeding them a debate, and that I'm okay with it. Sure. I'm just saying it's hard from a competitor standpoint, because
because I mean, if
I'm just not musically talented at all, so I have no idea.
Okay, so
I can definitely answer this one.
As someone who is musically talented, I do appreciate what Brooklyn's going for.
Absolutely.
Same here.
It's hard when you prep, and then
I agree with both sides of this argument.
Yeah, but he's valid. It is a music show, so you should be able to at least look up and know what's playing in your song.
Yeah, what's being played. But yeah, Brian, if you are ready, 30 seconds. Time begins next time.
Okay, so the instrumentation that's being used within this theming is a combination of bass, and it's I would think it's more like bass guitar, bass like a bass sound to it, but yet at the same time, it also does have a grinding sound of something like technologically like scream wise, or I don't know how to really put it, but just within the complexity there of the bass sounds and how the winding is rooted, then
time. Malcolm, 30 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Well, I mean, when it comes to instrumentation of the Simpsons theme, the saxophone riff done by Lisa in the opening, that's done in there in time with Lisa, it's very memorable than any of the instruments in there. And as an additional point of fact, the Simpsons theme has been nominated for various TV theme awards over its time. It won in 2002. It won the National TV Theme Award for favorite TV theme.
All All right. Interesting points brought up by both. I am going to get my argument another way first. I do think that in the closing arguments there were some great points by Vince Mortality brought up. Although before the closing, Brian has this for me. Even though I agree. Even though, for me personally, Simpsons is a favorite theme song of all time, I got more out of Brian as to how his theme sort of, while it alters slightly, it has this general theme that kind of provides which season you go into. I also like the musicality that Brian presented in his argument. And Malcolm, what I wanted to hear in yours is more than the saxophone, where it's the timpanis, it's the horn section, it's that da 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 da, it's that riff that is constantly being played throughout the theme. So I think once again Brian secures it on the closing for me. But I'm going to go to Caleb Coho next. Caleb, based on the arguments provided, who has the better arguments?
Malcolm leaned very heavily into recognizability and iconic, and I think that was his favorite buzzword of the night was iconic. And while he did throw a pretty solid hit at Brian with it not being memorable, I think Brian came back and said that yours is more repetitive and tired. Brian did a good job of describing how his theme elevates the show, whereas I didn't hear anything like that out of Malcolm. So I got to give my point to Brian.
All right, so Brian does get the point there to tie it up. Cody, your vote did not count, but how would you have swayed?
I would have swayed the same way as you guys. It's like Malcolm went to a time machine and decided to pick up like all the bad tropes I don't like in debate, as he killed in the first 2 rounds. And I don't say that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, just making sure. So the different ones that I wrote down, different themes. I thought that might have been like a nail in the coffin, kind of, but I assume that Brooklyn approved all these, so they're fair if they do change. On loop, I think that's a weak argument. That if you listen to The Simpsons on loop, I'm pretty sure you'll go mad and insane and probably try to kill somebody. And Stuck in Your Head is just not a good one. Tired of The Simpsons, I 100% agree. That's terrible. Theme is complex. I love it. This is like when you learn a new buzzword and you say it numerous times because you heard it and you think it's cool. Complexity needs to be thrown out because apparently that was everybody's buzzword of the night after that. Complexity. And also I think the correct choices, a few of them would have been Game of Thrones if we're doing musicality, Breaking Bad, or The Office. I think those have
not Breaking Bad by a mile. But I would
get the hell out of here.
Breaking Bad's theme is way too short. But I would definitely argue.
The correct answer is Doctor Who.
By the way, yours says Simpsons in it, so that's actually singing. I'm just throwing it out there.
The correct answer is Doctor Who because all you need to hear is the bum 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 bum.
The alone cello.
Turn off the TV. This is shit.
The lone cello in Game of Thrones gives me chills every time I hear it. But this does mean that we are into a tie. We now go into the coveted speed round format. Fourth time. So this is 4 matches now, and each one has gone into a tiebreaker, which is pretty interesting. So once again, guys, how it's going to work is if you answer first, you will be going first. You will have a 30-second. Yeah. No, what do we, Cody? How do we do a late night?
Brooklyn, yeah. Can I take it? I'll be right back. I gotta get a Band-Aid real quick. I just cut myself. If you need proof,
this is taking too long. He decided to cut himself to get out of it.
September the 25th. Wow, somebody cut themselves.
September 24 at 11:10 p.m. Eastern time. September 24th.
I think it's 30 and 20 or 30 and 15.
I think it's 30 and 20.
That's what I think.
Oh no, it's 2015 or 30-20. We'll 30-20.
Okay.
I think that's what we do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just the champion. I fight one time. That's not
I think we do the 30-24 when it's the pitching ones.
Okay.
I think it's normally 2015.
Okay, yeah.
It's up to you, whichever one you want to do.
No. That does make more sense. 2015 makes more sense.
But we do 30.
I thought it was. I thought it was
15.
I thought it was 30-15. Like all the matches were 30-15. I thought it was that.
No, it was. It's always for 2015 because I remember doing the countdowns because I often just do it in my hand. I know for the speed round it's literally I just count down 5 3 times.
Do we do that in late night or no? Is it?
Yeah, we do it in late night. 2015.
Oh, cool.
Right. So I will wait for Caleb to get his Band-Aid in the boo-boo. We'll look at some other themes that the chat would have presented. Jonathan Peck would have mentioned the Incredible Hulk theme from 1978. I know you would be great friends with Sandy Robinson. We also would have seen X-Men, Mad Men, NFL on Fox, Dallas, Mission Impossible, The Twilight Zone, Twin Peaks, The Office, Shut Your Whore Mouth, Cody. Nobody cares. Dallas, Seinfeld, Police Squad. I think The Office would have been another great one. I also would have loved The Addams Family, Jeopardy.
Did anyone bring Hockey Night in Canada up?
Nobody brought Hockey Night in Canada up.
No one likes it.
That's
why hockey sucks.
Ooh, well, fuck you, Cody. You can suck my balls left, right, and forwards.
You're a disgusting individual, and I feel upset.
Have you ever played hockey before, Cody?
Yeah.
What did you play?
I took off my skate and tried to stab someone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, jackass.
Yeah, hockey is a million times harder to play than baseball, and I've played both.
Hey, do me a favor. You see that thing that's shaped like a guitar, but it's probably something different?
It's like a Hawaiian wooden themed guitar, right?
Yeah. Shine it up real nice and stick it in a spot that won't fit, but will cause a lot of pain.
So like the sink, like I probably have to call it a plumber to get that fixed. So it's probably gonna hurt my wallet. Myself? Oh, also I'll like my armpits, like that'll probably hurt for a little bit.
Sure, I don't care where you stick it, but I was thinking of a different spot.
Oh yeah. Oh.
It's normally where your head is.
Malcolm, mommy and daddy are fighting again.
It's normally your head's normally up your ass, so just same thing. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh damn! Did I miss another Cody roasts Brooklyn session while I was bleeding out?
Mommy and daddy were fighting
Was
for
it that
2 minutes when you left.
Oh, dude, it was actually. I think I cut myself super deep because it wouldn't stop bleeding, and I've never had a cut like that deep before.
What'd you cut it on?
Frickin' whiteboard. No, my frickin' whiteboard has no barrier anymore. So like, I slid my finger across it. And
did you break it?
I broke it about a month ago in the number 1 contenders fandom match because I got an answer wrong and I smacked it on my bed and the corner snapped.
You and Bill share the same thing.
Because I flung it this way and like there's no frame on it all. So it's literally just cardboard. It actually works better.
Mine's stiff cardboard with like broken edges that could literally end my life. Apparently,
but you know the best thing about
it? Broken one on a Full Metal once.
They both have incorrect answers on them all the time. That's the best thing about your two whiteboards in common.
Cody, nobody asked. Let's get right into the speed round debate.
So Cody, there's a reason why you're a better debater than a trivia player. So
I won in Warzone. Suck it.
Okay, speed round.
All right, come on, guys. Let's pitter patter. Let's get at it. Okay. So once again, guys, if you go first, you'll answer first. 20-second opening, 15-second rebuttal. If you saw the promo post that I had up earlier today, this is kind of a hint. But the question is as follows: what is the best song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Under the Bridge.
All right.
A favorite? Do I have a favorite?
Brian, I will eventually give you a 10. So.
Okay, Californication.
All right, we have Under the Bridge against Californication. Malcolm, you have 20 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Under the Bridge is the greatest song from Red Hot Chili Peppers. the musicality of it is great. The music video for it is equally recognizable. It's one of Red Hot Chili Peppers' most recognizable songs, and you can just every time you hear it, you can't stop but sing along to it.
Time. All right. All right, guys. Brian, you have 20 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Cody, I hate to use this word again, but this song brings out complexity of Red Hot Chili Peppers, because this song in itself is about how everything is wrong with Hollywood, and I think it makes it an interesting song to listen to, other than Under the Bridge, where Under the Bridge will make you want to like cut yourself, and it doesn't bring an interesting connotation to what
Time.
the movie it is.
Time. Okay, we now go into 15-second rebuttals. Malcolm, time begins whenever you start talking.
You literally argued in one of the rounds before that you don't like it when songs take shots at various industries. So if you're picking Californication, you've completely made yourself a hypocrite in this. Under the Bridge is a great song. And it's really fun to listen to.
Time. All right. Brian, you have 15 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Talking about a song that's fun to listen to. This song is fun to listen to. Under the Bridge is not a song that's fun to listen to. It'll bring you down, man. I don't know what you're listening to, but damn, that shot at me being a hypocrite. How dare you, sir? How dare you?
All right. We are now going to debate, or we're going to ponder here and see between the three of us who has the better argument. Caleb, I'm going to go with you first. Based on the argument provided, who gets your point?
I don't appreciate the cutting yourself comment. It's very serious, okay?
Sorry about that.
Sorry, I had to get that out there. This was tough. I think Malcolm did a really, really good move by pointing out how in previous rounds that Brian didn't like his song because it was criticizing of an industry, and he picked one that criticizes an industry again and did a good job of pointing that out. I think that was a good death blow. Brian did a really good job of fending off a lot of Malcolm's other points, but I think that was just one that he never really defended. So I'm going to lean slightly to Malcolm, but that was a really, really strong fight.
Right. Cody, based on the argument provided, who gets your point?
Malcolm did a thing called the bait and shit, what I call it. So basically give a point and make somebody go on a tangent and their rebuttal so they can't do it. And it's kind of what he did. So he brought up a past point that really didn't have a lot of weight in this thing, but it got it because I think Malcolm won the opening. And then bringing that point up made him use his last 5 seconds to say, "How dare you, sir? How dare you?" and not actually counter against it. So Malcolm used a perfect technique. I have to give Malcolm a point. But Brian, great job for stepping in last minute. It was crazy.
And your winner by a score of 3-2, Malcolm Goldie Lay. I also would have agreed that Malcolm did use that callback to get Brian a bit of a tangent, and he wasn't able to get in some good rebuttals. But it was a great comeback for sure. Brian had to put in a really good fight in those last 2 questions to get the 2 points, but unfortunately was unable to capitalize with Red Hot Chili Peppers. But I am going to go to our winner today, Malcolm. This is your first win in 6 matches on the Jukebox universe. How do you feel?
I feel great. I mean, I may not know anything about music trivia-wise, but I really love to debate music against people. And it shows. I mean, and I really love that I could tear the shreds out of Blink-102. I really don't like them as a band at all. So, but yeah, and I mean, I wasn't sure how that last one was going to go, because as soon as he Red Hot Chili Peppers, I was like, damn it, that's another band I really don't know. I'll pick this song that I've actually heard of and listened to. And Brian literally handed me it on a silver platter when he made his argument.
Alrighty. I'm now going to go to the unfortunate loser, Brian. You almost had an incredible comeback, but that speed round, I think it's maybe that inexperience from not doing as many live shows as Malcolm has. But how do you feel about your performance today?
I really thought I was gonna probably get another question to be able to try to like get a chance to like. I thought there was gonna be like 2 or 3 more speed round questions, but I mean, if it's okay, yeah, maybe that could be updated for rules or something, Brooklyn. Maybe probably that could be something that you can look into, because honestly, to be given like 2 or 3 more speed round questions could probably give a chance to a few competitors. So, I mean, am I bummed that I lost? No, but I'm really happy that I got to be a part of this debate here against Malcolm. He's a good competitor. Music is what I live for. So I'm happy. I'm glad. Can't wait to see if I go against anybody else again. So,
all right. Well, Brian, thanks for coming on. On the very last minute, you did put up a great fight for the couple hours that you had, but we'll definitely be seeing you here in the future. I want to go to the judges. Caleb Coho, as somebody who has lost one of these debates, how do you feel about Brian's performance, and how do you feel about just the game in general?
It was just a very solid game. Very impressive for Brian, who came in here and, from what I understand, very last minute. So props to him. It's very hard to come in and do that. I also want to give props to Malcolm, because he did a really good job of debating today. It's come a long way. So yeah, I think both of them put up a really solid fight. And seeing their performances makes me really want to get back in here, because I think I would have beaten them both. But, yeah.
Well, as my great-grandfather used to always say, wishing one hand, shit in the other, see which one fills up first. Cody Newberry, how do you feel about these performances, and potentially going up against Malcolm in later rounds?
Well, it's Malcolm, since I joined Take 3 and since I've been in the community, Malcolm is becoming one of my really good friends in this community, and to see where he started. Not saying this was like his first debate, but when we started doing late night together and seeing where it's come, you can see that it's an art. I think debate is an art. You can pick the correct answer, but can you argue the correct answer? And that's always key. And I think Malcolm did a great job with that today. And it doesn't matter if you even select the wrong answer. You have to defend it until the end of the world and not give up. I think Brian did a great job too. I love this format actually with the 1 speed round, because it pretty much, you got it. You make the one shot to make it count. And if you space it out, I just think it gets a little convoluted. And if it was all speed rounds near the end, we know who the champion would be, hands down. But yeah, and by the way, Brooklyn, I beat you by 0.2 in fantasy.
Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. I'm going to go drink my sorrows away. I do apologize. You
didn't do better in the Multiplex Fantasy Football League. You got beat by Nico.
I'm gonna go crack open a Pepsi and just drink my weight in sugar. I do want to thank the entire panel today for an excellent match. To our winner, Malcolm Goldie Lay, where can the cool kids of the world find you?
You can find me on Take 3 Productions. I host a show called Bankum, and next week we're doing top Marvel super shows. You can see Brooklyn and Cody duking it out on there. You can also find me coming up this week me and Cody are taking on Brooklyn and Harley in a Schmodown Trivia Schmodown match. Watch my Full Metal match that I did earlier today. It'll be up on Worldwide Movie Games at some stage. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Stardust at Melkor.
Oh my! This should almost be a highlight reel of just me and Cody shitting on each other for from the entirety of the year. To our unfortunate losers today, Brian Fernandez, where can the cool kids of the world find you?
Twitter, damn you, Brian. Instagram, Brian Fernandez 611. You guys can find me competing here on either Full Metal if I do get a chance if I do ever answer my phone quick enough to be in a match. Just look for me here and you'll find me. So yeah.
To our judges today, start off with the King, Caleb Coho. Where can the cool kids of the world find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Caleb Coho. That's KALEBKOHO. You can find me on YouTube, Caleb Coho, where I do music, Coho Productions, where I do film. And on both channels, my movie Chick Part 2 is out right now for you to watch for free. What's not free is my album Shoot for Teams with my group The Forks, which you can pick up on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you consume your digital music. If you like rap, I mean, today I look like a rapper, but other than that, it's pretty good. On YouTube, you can find me as one of the heads over at Multiplex Entertainment. I host Multiplex Fantasy Football every Wednesday, a show with Jake Rangoni that will be premiering on Thursdays very shortly. Fandom Fight every Friday, and Nerdgasm, our Inner Geekdom Debate League, every Saturday. Malcolm's got a matchup coming up there very shortly against one Richard Schwartz. So it's going to be a fun time. So come check out Multiplex Entertainment. You'll see this ugly mug. You can also find me on Late Night Take 3 occasionally whenever Brooklyn lets me crash the green room.
Time. You've done better. You've definitely done better.
Better
Cody,
than Nico.
Cody, where can the cool kids of the world find you?
You can find me at Cody Newberry on Facebook. You can find me. You can find me at my new home, Take 3 Productions, where this Wednesday we are doing Superbad watch along. It's Linus's pick, the youngest of the 3-person panel. Me, Robert, and Linus. He's picked Superbad, so I'm really excited to watch that. I think actually Brooklyn is joining us for that one. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh.
He talked about it, so let's hopefully he can make a commitment and stick to it. You can also find me. You can find me Thursday. Kicking most of Take 3's ass in speed round debates anyways, because so far I am the 4-time defending speed round blah Associate of America.
Can you actually name off like your official title?
No, I can't, but just like Conor McGregor, I don't effing have to. The belt speaks for itself, bitch. Yes, but I am undefeated. I'm the reigning defending, and I plan to win this week, which is video game superheroes?
Yeah. Or no, superhero video games.
I mean, close
enough.
Superhero
video games. So close enough. I will have to, again, last week I had to debate sandwiches. This week I have to debate video games. It doesn't matter. I will win. You can find me there.
All right.
Oh, and rank of this week, too, kicking Brooklyn and Sandy's ass on their terrible choices of Marvel superheroes. Go USA, USA, USA.
New Zealand,
too.
Oh, Canada.
Everybody's falling asleep.
Portugal.
And last but definitely not least, I'm the Black Knight of Brooklyn Deli. You can find me right here on J3 Productions, running not 1 but 2 shows. You can find me right here on Jukebox Trivia, where we do various trivia debates and playlists. Be sure to check us out. I gotta figure that out because of work. Let me get back to my secretary, and I'll get back to you. I'll probably end up joining you guys at least for watch along. You can also find me on Thursdays running Late Night with Take 3 Productions. This week we're covering the best superhero video games with a potential special guest to be confirmed. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at TheRealBK10, 1010. You can also find me right here at Take 3 Productions doing various shit. So once again, guys, like, comment, subscribe. If you think you can beat Malcolm in a dance-off, throw your name into the Jukebox here Facebook page, and we'll get you in a match whenever we can. We are pretty booked out, though, for the rest of the year. Pardon me. Yeah, that's it. For Brian, for Cody, for Malcolm, for Caleb, I'm the Black Winter Broken Vale. Cheers, guys, and as always, drive safely.
Drive on safe.